Welcome to another episode of Behind the Dreamers. I'm Jennifer Loading, and we are talking to the achievers, the creators, the magic makers, and the dreamers. These are our friends. These are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Well, I'm so excited about my guest today. I'll tell you a little bit about him real quick. He has embarked on a dynamic entrepreneurial voyage, venturing into a broad spectrum of industries, from bail bonds and restaurants to real estate and construction. Throughout this remarkable journey, he's held pivotal roles as regional manager and national director within the construction and field services sector. These multifaceted experiences ignited his genuine dedication to sharing invaluable insights on soft skills and their pivotal role in shaping personal and professional success. So I'm so excited to chat with him today. And I got to be on his show a long time ago, so this is kind of fun to have him back on the other side and catch up with him again and see what he's up to. So before we bring him on, I do need to do a quick shout out to our sponsors. So today's episode is brought to you by Walt Mills Photography. If you are a creator needing post-production, consultation, or promotion, Walt is your guy. Whether short films, YouTube films, photography work, he can help you find a solution to match your needs. To learn more about Walt and his work, you're going to want to go to photosbywalt.com. All right, we're good. We only have one sponsor we have to announce right now, so it's good. It's easy. I don't have to memorize too much. Anyways, my guest today, Ray Agliata, is an individual whose passion resonates deeply with education and entrepreneurship. He's the author of Skillful Living Now, a soft skills handbook. He balances multiple roles in his professional life as a career education instructor at a college in New Jersey and as a proud owner of a thriving small construction company. His journey doesn't stop here, though. He's currently developing a complimentary course soon to be available for purchase, and he's enthusiastically delving back into podcasting and says that he is passionate about this medium. So, Ray, we are so excited to have you to the show. So welcome to Behind the Dreamers.
Jennifer, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's exciting to be on this side. I wasn't really too sure what to do with myself, but it's really great. So thank you so much. And congratulations to you too. Your podcast is doing wonderfully, and I think it's awesome.
Thank you. Well, I'm excited to have you here, and it's fun because it's podcaster to podcaster here. And so you're right. Sometimes, when you're on the other side and you've been doing it one way and then you jump on that other side, you're like, I don't know what to do with myself because I'm not leading this thing, right? Like now I got to be the person that answers the questions. So It's going to be good. All right. So let's talk about what you're doing because you just wrote this book. So tell us a little bit where you're at right now. You've got all these things going on. So what's Ray doing up to these days?
So right now I am doing a couple different things. I'm the career education instructor at Mercer County Community College in Trenton, New Jersey. And my main role there is to teach ESL students and adult learners things like soft skills, digital literacy, pre-apprenticeship type work. So individuals can go from a job to a career. And that's a real passion of mine. So I started teaching last January. I absolutely love it. And prior to teaching, I had the skeleton of a book. I'm really into soft skills. And no one thought soft skills were cool for the longest time. And then I kind of did a lot of research. And when I got hired by Mercer, they were like, oh, you're writing this soft skills book. We want you to teach soft skills. So I said, great. So what are soft skills? And I was just really excited about what they are and how they help people. So I hope you want to learn a little bit about soft skills.
I do. I was going to say, tell us what soft skills are, because my people are going to be like, what does that even mean?
So before here we go. I'm going to give you the college pitch of what we do in school all day long. So before we learn about soft skills, we have to learn about soft skills' friend, hard skills. So hard skills are technical skills specific to your job. So say you're a carpenter, your hard skills are how to use a hammer, how to use a saw, how to build a wall. Maybe you're an accountant. Your hard skills are how to file someone's tax returns or how to give them financial advice. Soft skills are skills that make you you. Okay. We all have these soft skills. We just have to develop them. So for example, the most important soft skill, or the granddaddy of all soft skills, as I like to call them, is attitude. And there are 10 of these soft skills. So for example, attitude is one, appearance is another, flexibility and adaptability, leadership, communication. These are all soft skills. We all kind of know how to use these soft skills, but the goal here is to try to master them. So we teach a course where I developed this course for Mercer, where we have the students. I made it like TikTok. And I go in there and I teach a little bit. I give them an introduction and make sure all their technology is good. I have a person who helps me with that because I'm lucky I'm here today. And and I end up having to teach the students a little introduction about soft skills, kind of similar to what we're doing right here. And then we jump into, they take it's like a 4-minute course on each soft skill. So it's like a module. They take 4 minutes on attitude. Then they have an expert that speaks to them about how they use attitude or how they use appearance or how to use communication in their everyday life and gives them tips on mastering those soft skills. Then the students take a little quiz, and I made the quiz so that way they can learn how to answer different types of questions, because a lot of these students are getting their GED or they're going into a certificate program at Mercer, or they're going to be taking tests in the future. So I kind of made the questions like that too, so they can learn different kinds of, this is true and false, this is multiple choice or whatever. And it sounds crazy, but if you know how to take a test, then you'll do better on the test. And you're learning soft skills. So it's funny, today I'm in the hallway walking down the thing, and at the end of one of my modules, I say, soft skills rock. Well, I hear in the background, hey, professor, soft skills rock. And I'm like, I think this is working. I think all these students are getting it, because now they see me and we talk about soft skills. And it's so important. And you learn these basic things. And in the book, I dive deeper than in the class. And you learn about, what's it take to be a good leader, or what's the difference between being a leader and a manager? Because there is a difference.
There is.
Why does attitude matter? Or, why is a problem solving one of the most important soft skills you can learn according to hiring managers? So if you want to do better in a job you're at, or if you wanted to, excel, get a promotion, move on to a better spot in your career, these soft skills are key. So now I see soft skills everywhere. Every computer guy, every cyber engineer, every whatever is like, I need to learn soft skills. I need to learn soft skills. Because you can be as technical as you want. Right. But if you can't relate that to someone else, or you can't work on a team, teamwork is such a big soft skill. If you can't do those things, how can you expect to be successful?
Right. This is good, Ray. It's so funny. I'm listening to you talk about all of this, and you're right. It's like, what's the difference between a manager and, the leader of a company? And I have this conversation so often, because a lot of times people think they're the same people, right? Like the visionary and the person that runs a company. No, they're not the same kind of people. And so when you think about all of these things, these soft skills, listening to you right now, even because my background was in network marketing. I was with Mary Kay for 22 years. And one of the things we all used to talk about is, how do you duplicate the process, right? You have the skills, but how do you duplicate what you've learned to somebody else, right? So it's all these things, and how do you work with people? And so I think you have to learn all of this stuff. And a lot of that, it's hard, because it's kind of like, teaching leadership. Sometimes I feel like, you have people that are natural born leaders, but you almost have to learn these things through the process, right? Like the more things that you do, you start learning some of these things. And so, to your point, I think all of this is really good. And it sounds like your work that you've been doing in this education actually sort of kind of inspired this book, being able to put this out where now, hey, people can say, okay, maybe there's more to just learning how to work the computer. I got to be able to relate to people and have conversation and do these other things that are not technical.
Sure. And I'm creating a separate course, which I'm going to release to the world. And my goal with that is to even go a little deeper than what the book is. And I have another couple of things. But talking about leadership for a second, when you look at leadership and you look at a manager, you look at those two different things. Yeah. A leader brings somebody from point A to point B.
Right.
They create the systems. They create the energy. They do that. A manager manages those systems.
Right.
And that's the difference between two. And there's nothing wrong with being a manager. I was a mid-level manager. I loved it. I was really good at it. I had existing systems. I've also been a leader where I've had some jobs where like you walk in there and it's like the place is on fire. You know what I mean? So you have to be a leader at that point. You have to put systems in place, and you have to do things. And in the book, I wanted to look at something different with leadership, and I'm glad you brought this up. In the book, I talked anybody could talk about, wow, what a great leader Patton was, or what a great leader Tom Brady is on the football field. I wanted to look at who, and I'm diving into this more, but in the book, I gave 2 examples of who are really good everyday leaders, people that you can see around you. We can all watch. I'm no Tom Brady fan, but I mean, the guy won 100 Super Bowls or whatever he did, right? He's a great leader, but you're never going to talk to Tom Brady and sit down and have a conversation about leadership with him. But I worked in a restaurant with someone named Fiona, who was a head chef, who was a tremendous leader. And then I learned from my dad, who was a manager of, who was a leader of a manager of a shop. And they did all diesel engine repair. Mm-hmm. And he had his own way of leadership, and it was great. And that was somebody that you can really, you could talk to every day. I still ask him questions, and you can talk to him every day. How did you think of that? Or how did you do that kind of leadership? These people are around you, and you can find them. And you can also find good managers too. And you could see people who manage the system. And those are important things. So you're sitting behind your computer and you're doing your thing. And then they say, hey, now you're going to be in charge of this team of other cyber engineers or whatever field that you're in, right? And you're like, oh, man, what do I do? We have to be a leader. How am I going to be a leader? You have to look around you. Who are people that are great leaders? Sure, learn about Tom Brady. I know I keep on talking about Tom Brady. I'm an Eli Manning fan. Look at Eli. He won 2 Super Bowls, right? I mean, I know you're in cowboy country down there, right? I don't want to, I can't talk about
you're
that.
Okay.
But, we could talk about, I guess, Staubach or one of those guys from back in the day. I could date myself a little bit. But those guys are leaders, but you're never going to talk to them. So you find these local leaders, local people that you can learn from and read about and talk to. And that's what's key. And there's so many, that's just one part of the leadership chapter, but I thought very much an important one.
No, and it's good that you brought that up, because I do think that we get those positions confused a lot of times. And, I always say that you don't want to mix those up, really. You don't want to put a leader in a management position. They need to know what that is, but they're different roles. If you put somebody that's a visionary in a position, like somebody asked me one day, I was at a networking event, just to give you an example, and I met this guy that was a property manager, and I just heard the word manager. That's all I had to hear. I don't care what you're a manager of. I just heard the word manager. And he jokingly said, or no, the other gal that I know, she's in real estate, looked at me and she said, would you want to be a property manager? And I said, no, I heard the word manager. No, because I don't want to manage anybody. I don't want to manage people. I don't want to manage because that's just not what I do. I'm a visionary. I like to see big picture, and how do I get people to cross finish lines? That's what I think about. So they are important to understand the difference. But I think the other thing that you said there that I think is really relevant is finding those right leaders, right? Like finding those, which I think could even go into saying, find those people, if that's what your goal is, to be a leader, to find those people that are where you want to be, that are actually in a space where they can give you the information that you need, and you can watch them and emulate them and kind of almost like shadow behind them a little bit, right? And learn from them.
When I was a younger man, I fought mentorship. I had people that I should have been my mentor, but I'm like, I know everything. You know what I mean? I'm young, I'm stupid, I can do it. I got it all. And it wasn't until I kind of took a little bit of a step back and I watched people who are great leaders or great managers, and I watched people that are horrible, terrible, should never be put in that position. And I kind of learned from them. And the great ones, I would say, hey, why'd you do that? And some people would want to be your mentor. Some people would be like, get out of here, kid, you're, whatever. But 99% of people want to be your mentor. They want to teach you, like, what I noticed about this group of students, this age bracket of students. And you told me you have a 19-year-old. I have an 18-year-old boy as well. I have 4 kids, but I'll talk about the 18-year-old for a second. I say, hey, call the dentist up and make an appointment for yourself. I got to call the dentist? Yeah, pick up the phone and say your name, and I need to make an appointment. This age group, they don't want to do that. They're like, well, can I just shoot an email?
Can I text? Can I just text an appointment in?
No.
With emoji?
Exactly. You have to call these people, right? So that's something where don't be afraid to talk to a mentor.
Yeah.
because mentors want to mentor you. When that student said to me today, "Hey, soft skills rock," I am like, I want to talk to you about soft skills for like a half an hour now. I'm like really, really into it. So I
That's
think it's
awesome.
great. And I failed. I failed in businesses. I've been successful in businesses. I want to share all of that. I want to share it so that way, hey, you know what, Jen, I'm going to tell you something. Maybe you're going to learn from it and maybe you won't fail at it, or you're going to fail at it anyway. And you're going to say, man, Ray failed at it too. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but that's, I think that mentoring, that mentorship and being a mentor, when you teach, you will become a subject matter expert and you learn. Like right now I'm writing I just took the OSHA 10 course.
Okay.
Right. I just took that and I'm writing a pre-OSHA 10 study guide for ESL students, right? I think it's great. I think it's awesome. You know, I mean, I want to teach that. I want to become an expert on that. Soft skills. I read about it every day. I write about it on LinkedIn almost every day. By doing that and becoming a subject matter expert. So as a mentor, what you get back, or as an educator, what you get back is that expertise.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
It's good. It's good. Thanks for sharing all that. So I want to talk about your book because you got this out. When did it officially launch, first of all?
I launched it about 2 months ago and I didn't tell anybody, I didn't tell anybody about it. I wanted to just kind of like, I love the book and I love the cover. And honestly, what I did was I wrote the book and then I hired somebody on Fiverr to edit it. Right. And she did a great job because when you read it yourself,
Right.
you miss things. Like you're reading what you wanted to write and maybe you wrote something totally different. And then I hired somebody else to help me format it on Fiverr as well too. Just strangers, like just anybody. I liked, what their pitch was to me. And then I launched it and I just wanted to see if there would be any sales on Amazon, and did I launch it right? Did I know what I was doing? Is it the price point correct? Before I said anything. And then I told some friends and right away they bought the book and I'm like, you better give me 5-star reviews. You know what I mean? And I did that. And now you are my first podcast.
Okay. So you're
excited.
Officially kind of launching it out there now then. And that's okay. Listen, I kind of did the same thing. So I really feel like it's really where you are. Somebody asked me not too long ago, because I launched my book in October of 2019, right before all the pandemic stuff hit. But I also launched my podcast within 2 weeks of launching my book. And it was funny because someone asked me the other day, they said, did you really get like all the sales you wanted with your book? And I was like, well, no, but I didn't really market it. I really didn't push it. I mean, I let people know I was writing a book and then I let people know when it launched, but I didn't really ask for reviews all that much. And I didn't really do like what they try to do on an official book launch. And part of it was for me was because I sort of looked at it kind of like a business card, for me, sort of like it was like, I wanted to share what I had learned in my journey. And it wasn't really like, I didn't really care. I just wanted to put it on paper and document it and get it out there. And hey, if somebody wants to read it, great. I'm okay with that. So I think, it's really all in what you want to do with it. And sometimes we have to learn and go through kind of the way we think we need to do it. And then we go, okay, maybe next time I'll do something different with it. Like I might promote it differently or whatnot. But who's to say that, now Ray, like you go on a bunch of shows and now this is like the official launch. Like we're talking about Ray's book. It's out there. You can purchase it and you can go get it, I do want to ask you a little bit about from the author standpoint, because you've done all these cool things and then you've written this book and this is like your very first one, right? Like this is the first book.
This is it.
I would love to know, because I feel like, once you've written a book, you're like, I've done it, but I think it's like everything else. When you first do it, it's kind of hard to do. I mean, you're learning how to write a book. So I would love to know from your perspective, like what was maybe one of the challenges you had to go through getting this book done?
It's interesting. There were days that I could write for hours. I would come up with these crazy ideas. Like I quote Bruce Lee in the book. I mean, I was just like, it was insane, right? And I felt like so creative. And then there was like periods of time, like a week, 2 weeks. I don't want anything to do with that book. And it wasn't that I had writer's block. It was just like, and then I would pick it back up again and I'd read a couple of pages that I wrote. And then I was back in the mix. I thought that was interesting. The other thing that was, I thought a challenge was, like I said before, when you read your own writing, you read what you wanted to write. It may not necessarily be what you wrote down. And then you start making changes, and then you become hypercritical.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have a great idea. You're like, oh, it's a great idea for a second book. That's something I just wrote in the first book. Focus.
Yeah.
You have to have focus when you write a book. Take notes on things. Like I have some ideas for a second book and some other things I've been writing on about motivation and student motivation. I could have started all of those books all at one time, and we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
So I had to have just this laser focus to say, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write. I was listening to, I might have been Joe Rogan or one of those guys, and they had somebody on, and they were like, every day I try to write 500 words. I never did that because there were some days that that's a famous author, and I'm a knucklehead, right? So I don't know if I'm right or whatever. There were days I couldn't write anything. I just didn't want to, or life got in the way. Then there were days where I couldn't stand up. All I would do was write. I would type, and I go back and look at it, and I'm like, ooh, stuff is nuts. But those were the things. So that focus, like in being engaged and being able to focus, I think was not challenging, but the most important thing about writing that book.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you say about the one where whomever that was that said write every day. I feel like that's probably the idea was that you get, the more you do it, like case in point, I'll tell you here. So Grammarly, I love Grammarly. I love ChatGPT. I take everything from ChatGPT, put it into Grammarly, make sure it's correct. And I've been using Grammarly for a long time because I'm the person that thinks I'm writing down what I want and I forget the commas and the ands and the twos and that my text messages are proof that I can transpose a sentence into whatever else it can be. Like, it'll be like, where's the and? I totally forgot the comma or the and or the but or the two.
Sure.
Anyway, so to this, like, I think the idea here is that like you write every day and you get better at it. So what was happening, like when I first started my podcast, I would struggle on how to write like the show notes just for the podcast. And the more I started doing it, I got better and better and better, and it got easier. And then of course, ChatGPT comes out now and I'm like, I'm loving it. I just got to put a few things in there and it spits it out for me. I love it,
Sure.
but I think it's like anything you do. I think the more you do it, that's how you get better. But to your point, when I was writing my book, I was the exact same way. There would be days that I could sit down and like it would just flow freely, like I would have it. And then there were days where I would just be like, I can't do this today. Like I just can't, and I learned during the process, and I still do that even now. Like when I have to write things out, like I'm just not going to force it. If it isn't coming, I'm just not going to make it happen. Like I'm not going to do it because the thoughts, I'm a creative person. And I know for me, a lot of my ideas come early in the morning, and I get up at 5 pretty much every day of the week. And that's between 5 and noon is when I have some of my best ideas. And if I'm starting to force things, like for instance, if I'm going to sit down at 7 p.m. at night and try to write a blog, I'm probably not going to do that because I don't know what you're going to get, Ray. It could be awful the next morning when I look at it. I know my capacity. So I think you made some really good points there about the focusing, but also not forcing it, allowing yourself the room to breathe a little bit and write when it's kind of flowing for you.
You did text me at 5:00 your time this morning. So
did
I will now. Yes, I'm up. I'm up 5:00 my time. So like when you texted me, I was like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like somebody else is up.
Yes, I'm up early.
That's what I do. I could sit down, I could write, I could take notes. A good exercise that I've been doing recently with ChatGPT is I would type in an idea. And I didn't use it so much for the book, my Skillful Living Now book, but I'm just typing in ideas in ChatGPT, and I'm like, provide me with a writing prompt. And ChatGPT will shoot back a writing prompt. I'll type in like extrinsic motivation or intrinsic motivation for a writing prompt. And then those ChatGPT will give you a couple of them.
Right.
Then you can write on them. It may not be what you want to write, and maybe you might be Hemingway. I mean, I don't know, but it's a good writing exercise, and I think that's a good way to get better at writing. And some people are writing books out of there. I don't fully agree with that, but I'm very interested in using it as an exercise or using it give me 5 ideas for a post on leadership. Yeah. And then looking at those ideas and then saying, right now I'm going to write a post based upon this idea. I think if you just copy and paste it in a graduate school class I had, I'm not going to say who or where, ChatGPT gives you little symbols, if you notice, like a rocket ship and all this other stuff. Someone actually cut it right out of ChatGPT and then pasted it into the forum. And then everybody was looking at it like, here's your answer from ChatGPT, rocket ship, you know what I mean? And emoji and all this stuff. Dude, you got to rewrite it. You know what I mean? You got to use it as an idea. And I think it's a brilliant way to get ideas.
Yeah.
But you have to write. You know what I mean?
And sometimes I'll use it, like, because sometimes, like, I'll write something out, like I'll write it all out, but I want to see what it pulls from what I write, because sometimes it'll use different words that I might use, and that's what I like about it, because my articulation of something might be very low, you know, and I may, I like this word. I learned a new word that I didn't pay attention to before, right? And so I do like it for, like, I use it a lot for my show notes, and that's just because then it's easy. I don't have to like get into it. It'll listen to the show notes in my podcast and it'll kind of create it. Sometimes I do change some of the stuff in that because I'm like, I don't really like that word. That's not something I'd probably say in my, you know, my lingo. So it's not congruent. But I do agree with you that it's really good for brainstorming and coming up with ideas. Like, I was working with a client on trying to figure out her brand, like her company mission and her tagline. And she had this one word she wanted to use it. So I typed in like the word and said, what are some ideas on this word? And then it started giving us all these ideas. And so I copied and pasted that, sent that to her. And I said, now take this information and try to figure out how to play this into what you're trying to do. Like, so that you can brainstorm, because sometimes that's all you need is just a little brainstorming idea. And that ChatGPT will give you something to kind of spark the, you know, the idea in your brain, then you can run with it from there.
100%. And I just love your idea where I'm getting back into podcasting mode. And I look at what my setup is here.
Yeah.
And then I look at my setup from 3 years ago when you were on the first iteration of my show. And I mean, back then I had to be like an engineer. You know what I mean? Like you had to use all these different, and now I'm going to say I had a friend of mine explain this to me. I plugged in 3 things and here I am. I'm talking to you. Before it was like you had to sync up your recording to the video. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to be like an engineer. But now it's really easy. And my vision with it is my podcasts have always been all over the place. Some of them are hilarious. And I listen to some of them and my guests must think like, who is this lunatic? You know what I mean? But I've been really trying to be more niche, and I've been really trying to, as I'm developing my ideas for, I'm going to do something with soft skills and a business podcast. And that's what I'm going to stick to. I'm not going to talk about how I'm afraid to drive over bridges or, you know, I talked about beforehand. I had a friend that did 7 marathons. She's wonderful, right? Absolutely love her. But like, I'm trying to be focused as opposed to 3-hour tangents about, you know what I mean? But for guys like Joe Rogan, it works. I mean, but you know.
But we're not Joe Rogan. That's what I always say. We're not. But yeah, so use that ChatGPT to get some brainstorming ideas on how you niche that, because then it'll get you some clarity on where you want to go with that. You're going to do great on that, Ray. You did great before. But I do think sometimes, we have to figure out like where we're going with that. And I think that ChatGPT can sort of like help us with some of the idea formation 100%. On it. So I love it.
100%.
So I want to ask you some fun questions, kind of just random rapid fires, because I think this would be fun since I hadn't talked to you in a while. And then we'll find out where these people can find your book and all that good stuff. So I want to know, let's see, besides yours, because obviously it's going to be your favorite, but what's another favorite book of yours that you maybe remember that you really like, or something you'd recommend?
I like anything literature based. I'm an English major, and specifically I like anything from Hemingway. And I listen to a Hemingway podcast because I'm like a super Hemingway nerd. And I would say Old Man and the Sea. And you can learn a lot by reading literature and by how much you could put into your writing. So that's you know, that would be my recommendation. Read classic lit like you did in high school, that you didn't read it in high school, read it now.
That's good. It's good. I haven't had anybody say that. I was not an English. I was a math and science girl. So those were always my kind of the logical stuff. But I get it. I get it. Totally. So what's your favorite? This is just going to be a random fire question here. What's your favorite guilty pleasure food? Like the junk thing that you really love?
So I'm gluten-free.
Okay.
And I have to keep that in mind. But anything involving chocolate, I can eat Hershey chocolate bars like to the point of nausea.
I like chocolate too.
Love them.
Yeah. You know what though, Ray? Funny story. I haven't said this in a long time, but like up until I was like 45, I'm going to start aging my ass up because that's been a while now. I didn't like chocolate. I did not like
Oh,
chocolate. Like I would not eat chocolate cake. The only time I could do was like I could do like a Reese's peanut butter cup or a Butterfinger, something that had something with it. The other day we went to a party last Saturday and they had chocolate cake with icing on top. I was like, I want a piece of that chocolate cake. Like I would not have touched chocolate cake as a kid. I would have had to have white milk to wash it down.
right.
Like because I
Oh,
couldn't. But I love chocolate now, especially dark. I like dark chocolate.
good for
Good stuff.
you.
Good
Welcome
stuff.
to the dark side.
Yeah, right, right. All right. One more fun question for you, and then we'll wrap this thing up. What is in your Amazon cart right now?
Oh,
You got something, don't you?
yeah. I actually, it's a handbook about OSHA 10.
That's good. I have not had anybody say that one.
No, it's for yeah. You never will.
Right.
It's for work. So yeah. I
Very
mean, I
cool.
bet you've had some exciting ones as opposed to OSHA 10.
Hey, I think it's funny when somebody tells me they don't use Amazon or there's nothing in their cart, and then I'm impressed. But the people that usually say it's not in their cart is because as soon as they put it in, they buy it. Like they get it
Yeah.
and they're done. Now I told you earlier, my son shares Amazon with me. It's on
Hmm.
our account. So he'll pay for his stuff with his card. His card's in there.
Hmm.
But I have constantly, I'll go in there to order something there, and there could be anywhere from 2 to 10 things in my list that I have to put save for later because he'll put things in
Hmm.
there. And I
Oh
think what
yeah.
he's doing, Ray, is he's trying to get me to buy them. He puts them in my list. So I'll go, oh, Sean needs this, this, and this. Does he want me to buy this or is he going to buy? I think he's secretly putting it in there. So maybe I'll add it, to go on my list.
Sure.
But I'm pretty good at hitting the save for later button. Save
I
for
have
later,
four
save for
kids.
later.
They all run the same scam. Yeah, they know.
Kids are good. They're good. My two oldest are out of the house now. So I only have the little one left at home. And so he's the only one that's ever been in that. He's in that Amazon cart like every day. That's what I told you. I have packages and they say my name. And I don't
Yeah.
know whether they're his or they're mine because they all come in my name. So
Before the pandemic, my girls were like, "Oh, we're going to go to Florida State. We're going to do this." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then after the pandemic, they're like, "Yeah, we're going to go to local community college, and we're going to stay. We're going to get our 4 year around here. We're going to stay living with you, Dad, forever." And it's like,
yep,
okay,
there you
you know
go,
what I
Ray.
mean? So, but I just think that's funny how like your two are out of the house, you probably miss them greatly, and when mine are out of the house at school or overnight somewhere, I feel the same way.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, Ray, this has been so awesome. So if our audience wants to get in touch with you, maybe they want to pick this book up, where do we want to send them?
Okay, so the book, I'm going to show you the book. I bought a copy of it
Yep.
right here. Of course, I have hundreds of copies at my house. It's going to be backwards, but it's Skillful Living Now, a
Awesome.
soft skills handbook. And you can buy that on Amazon. Just type in soft skills and my last name, Agliata, or you can just look for it on Amazon. And I do a lot on LinkedIn. So if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, be my friend, I'll follow you back. And I post almost every day about soft skills or something entrepreneurial or something along those lines. I think LinkedIn's a great medium and super professional. I don't want any other noise from politics or other nonsense. LinkedIn's straightforward. So you can find me there under my name, Ray Agliata.
Perfect. And we'll make sure too, Ray, when this gets all done, we'll get you tagged so they know where to find you and all that good stuff. So we'll
Awesome.
make sure it gets in the right places. So this has been awesome. I'm so glad we got to get you on here and talk a little bit about what you're doing since the last time, and appreciate your time and willingness to share with our audience.
I love it. I like to talk about soft skills for hours. And thank you so much for having me on. It was good to do a friendly face with a friendly podcast as my launch. So thank you
Awesome.
again for doing that.
Very cool. Of course, we do want to say to our audience, if you enjoy the show, head on over to Apple, give us a review over there, hit that subscribe button on YouTube so we keep sharing all these amazing stories. And as I always say, in order to live the extraordinary, you must start. And every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, be kind to one another, and we will see you next time.